You've seen a lot of polls lately that show the president down. Keep this in mind. He has not been able to have those rallies. He loves those rallies, and people love going to those rallies. Hasn't really campaigned in, 3 months? Not in the traditional way that he likes to. That's going to change this Saturday. Big rally coming. Want to bring in now Katrina Pierson, Senior Advisor to Trump 2020. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You bet. All right. You've seen the polls, a number of them. We can argue whether they're phony or not. I know that some are. But look, he doesn't have a lock on the election yet. I do think, though, that things are going to improve for him politically once he gets back out there. A lot of the polls, I guess, let's face it, he's not been able to campaign the way he wants to.
Well, and to be fair, the president has never been ahead in the polls, including when he won handedly in 2016. But to your point earlier about being unable to campaign, I think that is a huge factor in what's playing out. For about 3 months, the media really has had control of the narrative, full stop. And one of the things that we know with rallies, as you mentioned, he's able to talk directly past the media and into the homes of all Americans. And that's when his side of the story gets told. His points are made. And it's quite noticeable with the absence of these rallies, which is why, since we announced the rally in Tulsa coming up on the 20th, that we have nearly 1 million people who have registered to attend this rally because they want to hear directly from their president. They want to hear his rebuttal to all of these salacious allegations that we see in the media day in and day out, because this has been, since the very beginning, the whole goal of the press, the main press, the fake news media, has been to demonize Donald Trump and to blame him for every wrongdoing that has occurred in this country by the people, might I add, who've actually been in charge and making the laws of this country. Whereas Donald Trump has a record, we're ready to get out there and talk about it because he's actually been undoing a lot of the damage that have been caused by career politicians, particularly with the issue of today, where the cries for police brutality and the cries about systemic racism. Well, the Democrats have a candidate right now in Joe Biden who has spent an entire lifetime in office implementing such policies, and we want to get out there and tell that story.
Yeah, Katrina, I hear you loud and clear, and you're right. I can't believe how unfairly the deck is stacked against him. It is striking. It is undeniable. I think a lot of honest liberal reporters, if there are not that many, but they have to acknowledge that. By the way, you have a new ad that we'd like to actually take a quick peek at. This was unleashed by Trump 2020. Not many people have seen it. Let's take a look.
Antifa is destroying our communities, rioting, looting. Yet Joe Biden kneels down and his staff sends money for bail. And Biden fails to stand up to the radical leftists fighting to defund and abolish the police. With Biden kneeling to the left, we'd have chaos in the streets. President Trump is standing up for us, keeping our communities safe, protecting minority-owned businesses, and always standing for our flag.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Okay. Wow. That was pretty intense. Where's that running, by the way?
We hope to have it running everywhere. But, here's the point of this ad. It's very clear, and it's playing out on televisions all across the country, the consequences of submitting to the mob, because what the press isn't telling America is a simple fact that Donald Trump is 6 months ahead. Back in January, the president established a commission on law enforcement and administration of justice to address the types of issues that are being discussed in the national news. Yet no one is giving President Trump credit for being 6 months ahead of this issue. So it's going to be quite telling when we're back out on the road and really telling all of America what this president has done in just 4 years in office compared to the 40 that Joe Biden has spent creating criminals, building prison, implementing policies that have destroyed black communities. We have a very good record, and we're ready to share that with the country because we do have the higher moral ground when it comes to these type of issues in underserved communities. And we want to shout it from the rooftops because President Trump has been a president to all Americans, and he's gone above and beyond to help those conditions in those underserved communities. Right. And we just can't wait to talk about it.
I got one creative note, though. I don't like those cheesy announcers, the narration. I prefer it when he talks. I think it's very bold. I think it was a little little much with the dramatic voiceover. By the way, Susan Rice, I'd like to get your opinion. She has emerged as perhaps the front runner for Joe Biden. She is a woman of color. Democrats have made it quite clear that it must be a woman of color. We'll get to the credentials later, I guess. But Susan Rice, former National Security Advisor, UN Ambassador. You think she'd be potent? Do you think she'd give you guys a problem? What?
I think she's qualified and she'd be great. I would love to have her at the bottom of the ticket, because we do need to talk about all of the things that occurred while Barack Obama and Joe Biden were in office, because they have wasted years of Americans' time and millions of tax dollars in going after the political opposition, in our case, the Trump campaign, and they need to answer for that. So I would love to have her out on the campaign trail.
She's got the resume, but you're right. And she also has that peculiar email from January 20th of 2017 saying we did nothing wrong. Just so you know, FYI, we did nothing wrong.
Right.
That's a cute one. Hey, by the way, this is a pretty wild display. I guess it was a birthday message for the president, but these new flotillas. These are boat rallies. You've heard of the Trump rallies, boat rallies for the president. They did this for his birthday. I know one was done in West Palm. I think the other one might have been in Jacksonville. But look at these things. They are wild. Are these orchestrated by the campaign? Are these spontaneous? I think they're great, but how do they come about?
These are absolutely organic. There's a lot of Trump supporters out there that really want to get out there and show their support for the president, because he has been under attack since the beginning. And people want everyone to know that he has his support out there. And the interesting thing is, I believe they have those every single weekend at West Palm Beach. They're not organized by the campaign. These are just organic. Everyone's out and about. It's the springtime. Everybody's ready for summer. They're just showing their support for the president on his birthday. The American people spoke once again. We raised $14 million for the president's birthday, and the flotillas are just a sign to say that Trump support out there is alive and well. Don't be fooled by the polls once again.
That is one heck of a flotilla. It really is. They could commit an amphibious landing somewhere and take over a country, it looks like. Thank you very much, Katrina Pierson from Trump 2020. Take care.
Great to be here. Thank you.
All right, you bet.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems, or go to NewsmaxTV.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.